Hey everyone, this is Tara. Today I'm going to lead you through a quick little bowspring practice. This practice is meant for my students who practice with me every week. I am going on a vacation and I want to leave you with a little gift while I go. So you're welcome to practice while I'm gone. It is mixed level, so choose the level that works for you. Don't do anything that hurts, obviously. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. Okay. So, make your way to a standing position. Your feet are about hip width apart. Can you see my feet? Yay. Okay. All right. Draw your weight more towards the front of your foot. So draw your weight forward instead of sitting back into your heels, locking your knees. Push your weight forward to the ball of the foot. Maybe even hover the heel. Nice little bend in the knee. Hips slide back and wide. And then from here, instead of just lifting the front of the rib cage up, we want to lift the entire rib cage up, all as a unit. So the back of the rib cage lifts just as much as the front. Go ahead and bring two seats together like so. Press them into each other. Elbows press wide. Ribs press wide. Shoulders press wide. And the hands pull towards the belly, engaging the core. Lift the chin a little bit. And then set the heels down without shifting the weight back. And just find a little movement in the ribs from right to left. Close the eyes, soften the breath. And then reopen the eyes, shift your arms to pull-up bar, chin-up bar. Yeah, so from here, knees drive forward, hips sit back and wide. Keep the throat lifted. So oftentimes in class, this is what I see a lot of. I see a lot of this. We look down at our feet. Try to resist. Hips move back. Pull your way up. Imagine you're actually on a pull-up bar. Try to tone the back side of the arm as much as you can. Little pulse. Belly and throat stay exactly the same as if you had a back brace or a neck brace on. Instead of those, we're building our own personal back and neck brace. So we won't need those. Bring your hands to your head. And then notice if there's congestion in the neck, if we're here. Draw the shoulders wide. Lift the chin. Allow for a curve in the back of the neck. Press the head up, but then back into the hands. And allow some movement here, moving the ribs right and left. And again, noticing the belly and the neck stay just as long. It's not a compression and a lengthen. There's space the entire time. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand down to the right thigh. Set the hips back and wide and press into this right hand. Lift up first. Lift up into the head. Head presses back slightly, but think less back bend, more lengthen. More lift up. And then from here, keep the right hand as is. This time arc up and over to the right. Lift up and over. Expand the left side body. And then begin to shift your gaze to the right. Looking more over the right shoulder. All sides of the neck are long. And then slide the right hand across to the outer left thigh. The hand pulls right, the leg presses left. So there's this push-pull. Exhale, set the hips back. Release both arms, move the ribs right and left. Find some freedom, soften the breath. Notice the difference between the two sides. Exhale, right arm comes over the left. And then tuck the chin momentarily. Really fill the upper back. Keep this fullness in the back of the heart. So try to resist this squeeze. I see that a lot in class too. So no squeeze here. Keep full. I want to keep the back the same. We just need to unwind the shoulders. So everything back here stays exactly the same. The shoulders unwind and then we come back to our pull-up bar. Knees forward, hips back, pull your way up. Lengthen the chin, lengthen the throat by lifting the chin and create more space in the back of the neck. Make sure the knees and the hips stay soft. And then keep all of this. Bring the hands to the head. Soften all sides of the neck, especially the tops of the shoulders. So oftentimes there's this squeezing. Bring the shoulders wide, elbows pull in, and the head presses up at first, but then presses back as well. Hips resist back, along with the heart and the head. Couple pulses here. Make sure the weight is still in the ball of the foot. Knees press wide. And then on your next one, left hand comes to the left thigh. Press up, lengthen. Use this left hand leg connection to find more space in the body. On your next one, set back and wide. Arc up and over, expand the right ribs. Begin to shift your gaze over that left shoulder. Arc. Expand the right side body. Imagine space opening between each and every rib. Exhale, hips sit back. Left hand comes across to the right thigh. Hand pulls left. Leg pushes right. Little pulse. And then extend, press the head into the hand, rise all the way back up. Release both hands. Ribs press right and left. Find some freedom. Feel free to close the eyes, explore. And then left hand crosses on top. Feel free to tuck the chin. This time little circles roll around. Find some movement here. Switch directions. Yeah, expand both ribs, both wings, all the way forward. Set the hips back, press down, rise up. Little pulse. Belly, throat stay the same. Neck is long. Arms press down as you rise up. Imagine pressing or climbing out of a pool. Press down. Engage underneath the arm. Keep this same idea. Step the feet wide, wider than your mat. Knees forward, hips back. Belly and throat stay exactly the same as the knees and the hips bend. And make your fingertips all the way to your mat. Hands are about the width of the mat. Push the floor away, get the ribs big, elbows wide. Step your feet in closer. Knees stretch forward, hips stretch back. Pull your way forward. Just as we did standing, little pulse here. If this is too much, you're feeling tired, knees press wide, they come all the way down to your mat, heels squeeze in. Hands still pull towards the legs. Belly and throat still long. Ideally, your gaze is slightly in front of your hands as you move forward. As you move back, watch that your gaze doesn't turn towards your feet. That means your spine is pretty round here, so keep your gaze forward, kind of in between the hands, maybe slightly below the hands. And then from here, let's go ahead and twist cat left. So twist the knees to the left. From the feet, press the hips back so much that the left hand domes comes to your fingertips. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Make sure this right elbow stays bent and facing to the right. If this is too much, right knee comes down, hips stay back. If you're on your knee, little pulse looks more like this. Right ear towards the right shoulder, left ribs expand. If you're on your feet, same idea, arc up and over. Hips sit back towards the heels. Pulse it here. Lengthen all sides of the neck. Ideally, your gaze is at your left fingertips. From here, if you're tired, right knee comes down if it's not already. If you're feeling strong, left foot comes up as the right heel lowers. Knees forward, hips are back. So I see a lot of this in class. So knees down, hips are lifted. squeeze this left heel towards the left hip. And little bicycle. If you're on your knee, same idea, looks more like this. Wherever you are, make sure this right elbow is soft. Push the floor away from you, get the ribs to lift. And then maybe extend left arm towards the front of the room. Lengthen all sides of the neck. And then if you'd like, maybe make your way into wishbone, grab the forearm, but keep the right elbow super soft. Allow the ribs to open a little bit more. And then exhale, left foot comes behind the right. Set the hips towards the heels, arc up and over. If you're on your knee, looks more like this. The foot can come behind as well, if that is better. Couple more pulses here. Exhale, left fingertips come back to where they came from. Left hand goes flat. And then left foot slides through. Revolve your cat. Hips sit low. And then arc the right ribs this time. Bring the hand to the crown of the head. Arc up and over. Hips sit back towards the heels. If you need to, left knee can be down. I really prefer this one on the feet. But this is doable if this version is not. Press from the feet, get the hips back. Make sure this left elbow is soft. Top of the head arcs down towards the floor. Trying to create like a rainbow shape within the body. Left fingertips come down, left leg returns. Press the bottom of the foot up towards the ceiling. Yeah. And then draw the knee in without shortening the belly, without shortening the throat. Left foot steps forward, halfway on your mat. Right heel swivels down, right ribs lead you up. Little seaweed sway. Left ribs expand, right ribs expand. Finding some freedom here. Allowing the ribs to really lead this movement. And then bring the hands to the thighs, press the hips back. Back foot should be at a diagonal, front foot facing forward on your mat. Weight is in the ball of the foot. So if you were to run right now or start jumping, you could do it. We're not kind of locked. No joint is locked and stiff. So bend the knees, bend the hips. Press the hips back, and then bring the hands to the thighs. A little pulse. You have to stop sooner so that the joints don't lock. If I go all the way, everything locks and I'm kind of stuck here. So keep the knees soft, the hips soft. And then slide the left hand a little bit lower. Begin to open this right side. Press from the left hand into the right ribs, if that makes sense. So this hand extends the ribs up and opens them on this right side. If you're on the balls of your feet, still a little harder. Feel free to bring them flat if you want. And then maybe bring the crown to the hand to the crown. Arc up and over. Imagine that rainbow shape once more. And inhale, head presses into the hand, rise all the way up. Both arms forward, rotate the back knee, the back foot, hips move back, knees forward, press down, rise up. Make sure there's not a squeeze in between the shoulder blades. We're pressing down, we're not squeezing back. So quite different. When I squeeze back, the belly, the chest open, great, but then what happens back here? Everything collapses and is hollow. So we want to keep a fullness in the upper back so the lower back can move inward. Set the left heel down if it's not already. Hips move back. And then press forward with the right knee. And swivel the right ankle to the right knee. If this is too much, it can be below the knee or even on your mat. So choose your level for your practice. Once you get here, go ahead and globe the hands. Fingertips come to meet. Every single joint in the hand is soft. Press the fingertips into each other, elbows press wide. Pull the hands towards the belly, and then a little pulse. Both knees press forward. They also press wide. It's kind of strange. They do a lot of things all at once. We want both glutes to be totally engaged here. And then go ahead and pause your pulse. Exhale, twist to the right. Yeah, if you can see reflection, if there's a mirror next to you, your hips are back behind the chest, ideally. Knee is forward of the chest. Inhale through center. Exhale other way. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the right. Last time on this side. Left hand slides to the outside of the right knee. Right hand chin up bar at first. Lengthen here. And then bring the hand to the back of the head. Press the head up and back. Ooh, wobbly today. All right, knee presses forward. Ankle stays on the knee for a moment. And then release the ankle from the knee. Squeeze the heel towards the hip. Engage the right glute so much. And then hinge from the hips. Right foot touches down. We're going to make our way back into our side coil with a bind, just as where we started a second ago. Exhale, release left hand. Bring it forward a few inches. Actually, like a foot and a half. More than a few inches. Right knee towards the right elbow. Little bicycle here. Head presses back. How light can you make those left fingertips? So every joint in the hand should be soft. Ribs are lifted. And then right fingertips touch. Bring both hands all the way flat. So not this halfway in between hand. Bring the entire palm down. Press the elbows wide. Right foot touches down. Left knee towards the left elbow. And then set the left side down, lift the right. Try to think about lifting from the glute. So the knee stays low, the outer foot presses up, fiesta foot. We want the glute to lift us. Heel squeezes towards the hip. And then draw both feet down, pull the shoulders towards the front of you, push the floor away, get the ribs big. And then as we bring the knees down, don't just collapse. Keep pushing the floor away from you. Ribs stay inflated as the knees come down. Untuck the toes, hips slide back, elbows slide down, and bring the hands to meet, forehead comes down. Take a few breaths here. Grab some water if you need to. I need some. One or two more breaths. All right. When you're ready, make your way back to all fours. Or to all fours. I don't know if we've been in all fours yet. You may not have. Elbows press wide, and then move the hands wide. So many people, really, it's hard to see in this video, really used to these really close hands. Elbows are locked, everything is dumped, the back is collapsed. A lot of pressure on the joints here. So, and we're used to this idea of the hands being right under the shoulders, and it puts a lot of weight on the joints. So, very different posture. Instead of being here, hands are wide. And then notice how that changes the upper back. There's a lot more space here. There's not this collapse. You may not be able to see that because I know I'm very backlit, but imagine it, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So bring the hands the width of the mat. Pinkies should be able to touch the outside. Push the floor away from you. hips pull back. Imagine someone's pulling your hips back. Or even better, the heels are pulling the hips back. Heels squeeze in, but they're also kind of pulling towards the hips. Knees press wide. Hands pull towards the knees. As you do that, imagine the core just lighting up. It's really tone all the way around here. It's not just this collapsed movement back and forth. There's a lot happening if you're doing it muscularly. Super strong, super tone. Couple more pulses here. And then go ahead and keep everything the same. Notice how your neck feels. Hopefully it feels great. We want the top of the head moving towards the front of the room, the back of the head moving up towards the ceiling. There's not compression anywhere in the neck. Not in the throat, not in the back of the neck. So keep that. And then tuck the toes, lift up. Notice the neck. Has it gotten more tense? So adjust it. Draw the head forward, back of the head presses up. Push the floor away from you. Get the ribs to lift. Knees press wide, hips are lifted. And then twist your cat to the right, knees to the right. Push from the feet, get the hips back behind you so much that you dome your right hand. Sit the hips towards the heels, arc up and over, expand this right side. Again, if you would prefer, the left knee comes down to your mat. Looks more like this. Make sure this left elbow does not lock. Mine always wants to. My joints hyperextend a lot. So it's this constant reminder for me not to. Pulse it here. Your gaze should be near your right hand. Noticing every joint in that hand being soft. Touch the fingertips on the floor. And then either set the right knee down as you pick up the outer right foot. The outer foot presses up, knee presses down. Squeeze the heel towards the hip. Tiny little bicycles here. They don't have to be huge. Or left heel sets down. Little pulse here. Couple more here. See where you're overworking, what you can soften. And then from here, the right foot's gonna slide behind the left off of your mat. Knees and hips kind of rotate, hips sit down, and then arc up and over. Your hand can come to the head if you'd like. Expand this right side body. If you're on the left knee, can be more here, or the foot can be behind the knee. Make sure this right hip stays soft. Exhale, right fingertips touch first, land the entire right hand, and then right foot's gonna slide through for revolved cat. Press the feet forward to get the hips back. Set the hips down, arc up and over. Left hand can extend here, or it can come to the crown. Make sure the ribs stay lifted, right elbow soft. Left fingertips touch, right foot presses up, rises up. Both glutes are totally engaged. Push the floor away from you, get the ribs to lift. Back of the neck is long. Exhale, right foot's gonna slide forward halfway. So not super large stance. Rotate the back heel so that it falls down. Left ribs rise, right ribs rise. Seaweed sway. Imagine the arms kind of following this movement. Ribs are in the lead. And then right hand's gonna come to your thigh. Make sure your weight is on the ball of the feet. You can even hover the heels here. So maybe a little lift in the heel. Knees forward, hips back. And then extend, press from this right hand, get the left ribs to rise. Knees bend forward, hips back. And then arc up. So notice, take a look. Notice my head is not changing. If I had a neck brace, nothing would change. I could do this with a neck brace. I don't want to, but I could. It's not this sit up. I don't look down towards the floor and then extend. I do see a lot of this going on. Think more in the knees and the hips. Arc up and over. Belly stays the same, neck stays the same. Your gaze pretty much stays the same. It shifts a tiny little bit, but not too much. Option to bring that right elbow down. Hand can come to the head. Press the head back into the hand. If you want, you can even place your right hand on your belly. Notice if the belly changes shape. Hopefully it doesn't. And then press the head back into the hand to rise up. Rotate the back knee. Release the left hand. Hover both heels, knees forward, hips back. Press down, rise up. Resist the urge to squeeze the shoulder blades. Keep the belly, the throat super long. After your next one, knees slide forward, hips move back. Right heel slides all the way down. And then press the left knee forward and make your way into figure four. Can be on top of the knee, under, or even on your mat. Globe the fingertips, press them into each other. Don't look at them now, you don't have to. Every joint should be soft. You can look at them at first if you need to, sorry. Elbows press forward and then lift your gaze. So it shouldn't be all the way up at the ceiling, no, because that compresses the neck. There's on the horizon. The chin is slightly lifted. Think about the throat and the neck being the same length. Right knee presses forward. Left ankle presses into that thigh, lower thigh. From here, little twist to the left on your exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale right. Inhale through center. Exhale left. Option to stay here. Or slide the right hand to the outer left leg, left hand chin up bar, hand comes to the head, press the head back. Don't lose this ankle-knee connection. Head presses back a little bit more, and then lift up. Release the left foot, keep everything else the same. Heel squeezes towards the hip. Keep everything the same, hinge from the hips. And slide the foot towards the back of your mat for a binded side coil. Hips move back, arc the ribs up. Let the top of the head move down, but don't collapse on that right side of the neck. Pulsing here. Exhale, release the right fingertips forward at least a foot, maybe a foot and a half or 2 feet, depending on your stature. Bring the left knee in, little bicycle here. Right ear towards the right shoulder, left ribs expand. See how light you can stay in this right hand. And then left hand touches the floor super light. Left foot touches super light. Bring the hands completely flat. And then lift the right elbow towards the right knee. Push the floor away. Get the ribs to lift. Set the right side down. Pick up the left. Set that side down. Moving right and left. Focusing on squeezing the heel towards the hip. The outer foot presses up. Fiesta the foot. Toes are soft, ankle is flexed. Can you feel the back of the leg lifting you up? Or is it all on the front of the leg? If it's here, ooh, this is all hip flexor. Not so great. If we lift here, it's the glute, bigger muscle. Exhale, draw the shoulders forward, both feet touch your mat. Push the floor away. Keep the ribs full as you gently, gently, gently lower the knees. Exhale, elbows and forehead. Take a couple breaths here. We're gonna make our way back to all fours. And then tuck the toes, twist to the left hip, and make your way onto that left hip. Yeah. All right, press into the right hand. Left arm extends towards the diagonal. The ear comes down, so it feels like the neck is really leading this. If the head stays lifted, it's a little different. So the top of the head kind of slides down, the ribs rise, and then as you come to the mat, both knees stack, they're forward. You can even pick up the hips, slide them back a little bit. Press the left hip and left outer foot down into your mat. Allow the ribs to find some lift, pressing down into the shoulder. Right hand domes here, and then lift the right foot just by pressing the left foot down. So it's like imagining these rubber bands around the legs. Press them both wide. Right hand pulls towards the knees, lengthen here. And then option to keep these hands. This is a little easier, or you can set the knee down for a moment, bring both hands to both sides of the head, press the head up towards the front of your mat and then back. Lengthen and then press the left hip down so much the right leg rises once more. Little pulse here. Think about lengthening the belly, the throat. And then exhale, rotate the back of the head down, both arms up towards the ceiling, hips move back and wide. Feel free to set that right foot down or keep it lifted. Fingertips up towards the ceiling, hips move back, lengthen. And then a lot of times, this is very common, the chin moves towards the chest and it just stays there. Find a lift to lengthen. And then release the right knee down if it's not already. And then left hand to the outer right knee. And right fingertips to the floor near the head. Pull with both hands, lengthen the belly. The head can kind of tuck back under the right hand a little bit. A little squished. But this hand can be a little longer, or it can be near the head, whatever feels good for you. Take a couple deep breaths into the lowest part of the belly. This is one of my favorite poses. I feel like I can't complete a class without this one. I just love it. All right, option to release that left hand or keep it connected and use that connection to rise up to your back. Both feet eventually meet the floor, both arms up towards the ceiling. Feel free to recenter if necessary. And then the right arm, it's a weird thing doing yoga in a corner. Okay, right hand comes up overhead, roll to your right side. From here, immediately press the hips back. Press into the floor with the feet to press the hips back. Allow the top of the head to move towards the floor. Left fingertips dome, elbow up towards the ceiling. Press the right side down so much that the left leg rises. Lengthen the hips back. Open the belly, the throat. Find some nice long movements here. Option to stay. If you prefer these arms, stay. If you prefer hands to the sides of the head, bring them there. Press the head towards the front of the mat and then back. Little pulse. Again, the right side pushes down so much that the left kind of gets jealous. Imagine those rubber bands around the thighs, around the calves. Press them wide. Keep the rubber bands tight. The feet are fiestas, so the ankle is flexed, toes are soft, and the outer foot presses out on both feet. And then exhale, let the head roll back behind you. Both arms press up towards the ceiling. Remove the right shoulder out from underneath of you. Leg can come down or stay lifted, whatever feels best in your body at this moment. Hips are back, knees forward, throat is long. There should be a cervical curve, a curve in the back of the neck, a curve that moves in as well in the lumbar spine, and then everything else presses back. The hips, the heart, and the head all press back. Right hand comes to the outer left leg. Left fingertips up overhead. You can keep this leg lifted if you want more strength, or feel free to set it down, soften, relax. Pull both hands, lengthen here. Take some breaths into the lowest part of the belly. Option to release both arms back up towards the ceiling, or I've been playing with keeping this hand-knee connection as you come up. And both feet make their way to the floor eventually. Pick up the, press into the feet to pick up the hips. Allow the belly to rise. Allow the throat to open. So habits, right? Old habits. I tend to tuck my chin. I do this a lot, so I'm still learning. Every time there's this reminder, lift the chin. Create space here. Slide the hips right and left. And then press the hips down. Allow the belly to stay lifted. I like to press into the back of the head, move the ribs towards the head, and press them wide into your mat. Relift the chin, move the head right and left. Find some softness there. Press the hips down so much the feet rise. Legs are parallel to the floor, or the lower legs are. And then we're going to twist the knees a third or halfway to the right very slowly. Extend the arms to the left, lengthen, elongate. Press the legs long. I can't, there's a window here, maybe I'll rotate. It's a weird space, I don't normally practice here. Rotate and then maybe lengthen, stretch. Inhale back through center. Exhale, other side. Knees to the left, arms to the right. And then maybe elongate, lengthen the legs away from you, arms away from you, stretch. Exhale, draw everything in. And bring the hands to the knees. Keep the throat open. You don't need to look at your knees. They're there, I promise. They're good. Yeah. Couple little rocks from right to left. Softening. Almost massaging the back of the hips depending on your surface. If you're on a hardwood floor, this is really therapeutic. I don't feel much on the carpet, to be honest. The harder surface is better. And then exhale, draw the feet down. Allow them to extend all the way to the end of your mat. Close the eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then the option to just stay, relax, or maybe readjust. I'm going to show this one because I think it's really great. I do this before I go to sleep at night. I do sleep with a pillow under my knees, so my knees are kind of lifted a little bit. And then reach under the hips. Pull the hips up and wide, untucking the belly. So just as we did before we lifted the legs up, belly is long. And then if it feels at all crunchy in the low back, press into the back of the head, move the ribs towards the head, and then re-soften. There should be a lift in the chin. So again, we want this curve in the back of the neck and the back of the low back. And yeah, so I sleep like this a lot, obviously with a pillow under my knees, but for your little practice at the end, you may or may not have one of those. All right, go ahead and take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go fully. Once more. And with every exhale, wash away any tension, starting from the top of the head and moving all the way down through the body. Allowing the breath to come in and wash away tension. Slowly working your way down the body. little by little, releasing, relaxing, and eventually moving all the way down and softening even into the feet. Just letting go. That was my dog snoring at you. If you're not already, go ahead and begin to find some movement in the hands and the feet, reawakening the body. She had to add something into your practice. You're very welcome. Bend both knees. And then pay attention to how you get up. So oftentimes we're like, oh yay, we're done. We'll just get up however we want, which is fine. But we also want to pay attention to those little unconscious habits that may be harming us. So bend your knees, bring them back to your mat. Pick up the hips, slide them to one side, and roll to the opposite side. Belly and throat stay long. So thinking less fetal position here, and just more keeping the length that we've already built. So keep this as we come up. Press into your free arm. Let the head stay heavy, and make your way all the way back up. Yeah. Find a little seat. Notice how you're feeling. Feel free to close your eyes or not. A little bit of movement. Yeah. Take a big inhale, stretch, lengthen, reach. Let it go, exhale. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. I hope you got what you needed. Have a good one.